So I was forcibly removed and escorted out of Jason Aldean's rooftop bar and kitchen in Las Vegas.
Sure, stop recording.
Yeah, so they're kicking me out here, guys, even though I did ask permission at the door. I asked the guy downstairs.
Okay, what guy?
I ask everywhere I go. Now I'm being surrounded. Before you say it's their right to not want you in there, you should know that I asked for permission and was granted it by not one but two different people at the front door before I even set foot into the property.
You're right with say showing people around. I showed him Moles Red a few weeks ago. I got a YouTube live stream. I just want to show him the place. You were good? You usually want to see my ID on the bars. Thanks, brother. They said yes.
This incident caused their scores on Google reviews to drop, which was no doing of my own. It was simply the 400 people that were watching that decided that that was not a very good way to treat a blogger. So in this video, I'm going to ask some questions about what kind of interactions we should be having with restaurants and businesses on the Las Vegas Strip. What kind of first impressions or lasting impressions are these companies making by doing these kinds of things? And if this was simply a misunderstanding. I also want to kind of explore Jason Aldean's somewhat special connection to Las Vegas itself, because a lot of people don't remember what happened all those years ago at the Harvest Festival when Jason Aldean was on stage. And I also want to talk about how Jason Aldean got me into country music after my absence. I grew up in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and rejected it. I was a rock and roll guy. And then, Try That in a Small Town came out, and I was hooked. So I'm very disappointed with what happened, but we want to review the venue as well. So let's get on with it. We're going to ask those questions. I'm going to cover the incident as to what happened. It's been a few days. My head is cleared, and I have my thoughts together. My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. Let's get on with it. 1, 2, 3, action. So I guess first things first, what is Jason Aldean's rooftop kitchen and bar? Well, it's a new trendy concept in Vegas. It actually started in the country western space with Ole Red down at the current Horseshoe site facing Las Vegas Boulevard with the best views of the Bellagio fountains you might ever see from their rooftop. As a matter of fact, I actually toured that on a live stream in the past, asking permission to go in, just like I asked over at Jason Aldean's place. They said yes, and I even reconfirmed that on the same stream.
If they let me do a walkthrough to show my people, can I just do a quick walkthrough?
Give me 1 second. I can't let backpacks in.
Really?
I cannot let backpacks.
Otherwise, you're okay with it, right?
I am.
Wanted to make sure that maybe it wasn't just a fluke at Ole Red and Jason Aldean's was the norm. It certainly wasn't. But what you should know is that Jason Aldean has quite possibly the closest celebrity connection to the city than anybody since maybe even Elvis Presley. You see, a bit of a trigger warning here. We're going to talk about one of the most traumatic events in U.S. history in terms of damage to civilians. But Jason Aldean happened to be the entertainer on stage at the Route 91 Festival in Vegas on October 1st of 2017, when a madman opened fire from the Mandalay Bay, taking out 58-plus lives that day. So I know that Jason Aldean has a fondness for the city. I know he has roots here, and that's one of the reasons that I was excited to see the place doubling down. I actually sell a product in my advertising job called My Nashville Magazine, and my publisher loves Jason Aldean so much, he put him on the cover of the magazine just to promote him and show his love. I actually remember my first experience in a city that was not Vegas, that was not in California, as Nashville, Tennessee. And I turned to my publisher who had a house out there and I said, can you imagine if they did something like this in Vegas? So when they finally did, I took it as an opportunity to show my audience, and I even asked permission. So those are some of the connections to the city that Aldean has and the connections to Jason Aldean that I have. On a side note here, I grew up in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and as somebody who didn't really like country music and was more of a rock and roll guy, Jason Aldean actually got me back into country music with his massive single about a year ago, Try That in a Small Town. It was the first time I heard country music that I really liked, which made this experience a bit cooler for me. But we'll get to the incident, and we'll get to him, the bouncer, not Jason Aldean, shoving me out of the way and, putting the hammer down on me and surrounding me with 5 different men in a minute. What was the place like? Well, you might want to know, and I'm here to tell you. So now, unfortunately for us, I don't want to give the restaurant management any reason to do a takedown on this video, so I can't show you much from my actual live stream. But the bar and the restaurant itself is actually really cool inside. I really like the ambiance. It's actually split into 2 different levels, with the first level, when I went in, featuring country music, and the second level featuring a lady doing Led Zeppelin covers. I mean, you have a little bit of rock and roll on the second level and a little bit of country western on the first. Whereas with Old Red, you only have country music. Yeah, this had a little bit of everything for everybody, which my audience did tell me is actually the same case in Nashville on Broadway, where he had his original location. They have a radio station in there. They have a nice little gift shop. Things are reasonably priced. The food doesn't look like it's anything to hit home about, but it looks like they give big portions. And so I would say as a venue, it's pretty great. I mean, the views are good. You look over the Las Vegas Strip. You can see Harmon Corner with all the neon lights. And I'm sure that next year when F1 comes through, that is going to be one of the premier locations to actually watch the race. And I can already tell by looking out there that it's going to be a great place to actually watch fireworks. So overall, I mean, the reviews online looked really solid. It was 4.1 out of 5 stars for the 12 that were given. But then I showed up. Let's tell you all about what that experience was like. So the incident that led me to being physically removed from the property and then pushed out of the way at the front door, it started off innocently enough. I mean, I'd known the place had opened. It was all over the media. And I think it had even opened just a few days prior, possibly around Thanksgiving Day or something like that. So I went up to the front and I did what I tend to always do, which was ask permission. Here's me asking permission from the main people, and I actually make a joke that if these guys say no to me, they're out of their minds because people don't even know what this place is like inside, and this would be a great opportunity for them to know.
It'd be real ironic if they kick us out, because we got full access to Old Red before. You're right with showing people around. I showed them Old Red a few weeks ago. I got a YouTube live stream. I just want to show them the place. You were good? You usually want to see my ID on the Mars. Thanks, brother. They said yes.
And they completely let me through with not one but 2 different people getting confirmation that I was fine to go stream. And as I was streaming and walking around, my narrative was at first not all that complimentary, but once I realized what we were actually looking at and how they had multiple levels and different music, I basically was vibing on the place, telling everybody this is a great venue. You guys should come and check this out, and it's pretty darn great.
Okay, I like this a little more than Old Red now.
And then I got to the patio, and as I was outside, I heard somebody come up behind me, and the following interaction happened.
What's up?
Hey, stop recording.
I asked the guy downstairs.
Okay, what guy? Because if you're going to film in our venue right now, you need a
All right.
contact.
Oh, settle down
Yeah.
for a minute. I'm going to settle down. I'm not upset.
Yeah.
I ask everywhere I go. Now I'm being surrounded. Okay. There's 347 people watching
but,
this.
like, man, look,
No, I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah.
There's 347 people watching. I asked at the front door. First person I asked,
right?
and then he brought over another person,
Right.
and he went like this. He went, no problem. And then I said, okay, I can come in and look
here's
around.
The thing. If you hit somebody with that camera in here while you're recording, you're held liable for it. So that's why I asked. Did you contact our marketing department, submit a COI?
What's the fastest way without me jumping over the edge? I'll point the camera down, I'll leave.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Now, it's important to note that the main bouncer or whoever I was dealing with wouldn't listen to me whatsoever.
Even though I did ask permission at the door. Actually, check it out. Here, come here. No.
You got it. Like,
I know.
I'm glad you have a following on YouTube.
No. I want to show you something.
I don't want to see it.
Because any a-hole can tell you.
Yeah.
You want to see the guy downstairs that told me?
Yeah, let me
His main concern was that a setup that looks like this, which is simply a gimbal and a camera, would be enough to cause major harm to people. This is literally the exact iPhone and actual gimbal I use to stream every single stream. He wanted me to have a COI or a certificate of insurance and go through their media department to be able to provide the live stream. And when I tried to explain that I had somebody downstairs who had given me the okay after asking another person, he wouldn't have any of it. And I tried to use my other phone to show him that person, but he basically led me out the back way and then read me the riot act.
They are literally, guys, they are escorting me out of Jason Aldean's bar because I don't have a certificate of insurance. No, this right here.
I don't care about this.
No, this is actually private. That's another thing. But they don't kick me out of this.
This isn't private. You're on the open strip, bro. Inside
No, see where that is? That's your private. Guy doesn't even know where his private property is.
Sorry.
Sorry, brother.
I asked you to not record it here.
Okay, I want to find the guy.
Turn the camera off when you're over there, bro.
I want to find the guy. Camera's pointed at a pole.
Stand out there until you find him.
Please don't shove me. The guy just basically, this is what he did. I'm here. He goes like this with his body. He body checked me. Wow. What an experience. What an experience. This is Jason Aldean's place. I just spent 25 minutes telling you that this is a really cool venue. Huh.
Even though I wasn't even showing the venue, he shoved me out of the way because he was so paranoid about me showing the inside of the venue.
Okay, I want to find the guy.
Turn the camera off when you're over there, bro.
I want to find the guy. Camera's pointed at a pole.
Stand out there until you find him.
Please don't shove me. The guy just basically, this is what he did. I'm here. He goes like this with his body. He body checked me. Wow. What an experience. What an experience. This is Jason Aldean's place. I just spent 25 minutes telling you that this is a really cool venue. Huh.
And at that point, I had just completely given up. What happened next, though? What happened next is maybe a word of caution. Because my channel didn't have 2,000 viewers, but there are those that stream with that many. But look what happened to the Google reviews and the Yelp reviews. And listen, it is really, really important for me to point out at this point that I never asked a single person to post a negative review. As a matter of fact, I told people when I walked out of the venue that I still think it's a great place and you probably won't have any problems unless you bring a gimbal and try to record inside of there, and you should check it out. But these review bombs dropped their score. They went from 4.1 out of 5 stars to less than 2.8 on Yelp, 2.5, and 2.8 on Google reviews. Now, these will be erased in time by people who visit the venue. Venues like this will have 5,000 reviews, 10,000 reviews after a single 6-month or 12-month period. But the point is, this put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and as the days have gone by, it actually had me thinking and asking another question, and that's about how we can kind of live in synergy with these big corporations, and how maybe the corporations, instead of the vloggers, in some cases are to blame for these types of incidents, but that the vloggers also have a responsibility. And hear me out on that. As I said in the very beginning of this video, first impressions are absolutely everything. And what I think a lot of these companies don't understand when they're dealing with massive global celebrities, somebody like Jason Aldean, who no doubt has a following in every country that has a country music audience, is that people look to smaller influencers as somebody that they can trust. I do my very best to be absolutely unbiased in everything that I do on my channel. I have no interest in trying to tell people everything is a certain way because I know that I'm not going to be hired by Jason Aldean's or by Caesar's Palace or MGM or any casino property. I'm not what they're looking for. They can get Bruno Mars on the phone to advertise the casino, and Jason Aldean is Jason Aldean. He advertises his own place. But I think the lesson here for these companies is to possibly train their employees in such a way that everybody from the top down understands what the actual policies are. And if somebody gets into a situation like this, maybe stop and pause, as I had tried to do with this person who shoved me at the very end and I just gave up, and actually listen to their side of things instead of pushing it so much forward. Because, when two people are arguing, nobody is right. But when people will hear each other out, then people can actually have a voice and we can come to a common ground on some things. But, on the other hand, I totally understand, too, that there are bad actors on both sides. For every good police officer, there's a bad one who will be a bully. And for every person that works in the restaurant industry that's kind of over the top and just pushing their weight around, literally in this case with this person giving me a body check, there's going to be people who are common sense and clear-minded individuals. But it also falls on the vloggers too, right? There's people on YouTube who I've seen do over-the-top audacious things like sneaking into the Fontainebleau to get room footage before they're officially open to the public and then lying about being invited to the black tie affair only to be kicked out. These kinds of things put a responsibility on us as a vlogging community in order to put our best foot forward, That's why I always ask permission when I go into a restaurant and there's somebody I can ask permission with. And granted, most casinos have a no filming policy, and most casinos just tolerate us because they have other things to deal with. I mean, look, if there is a major incident happening and the cops are trying to arrest somebody who's a bank robber, they're probably not going to pin you down for jaywalking. But eventually, all of us vloggers learn one way or the other that we are always guests in these private properties, and that's the way it really is. These are private properties, and they can enforce the rules as they want. The disappointing fact of the matter in this case is that I was given permission when I went into the property originally by not one, but two different people. I tried to argue my case against the person that had confronted me, only to be forced outside, and then while I was standing outside of the property, be pushed out of the way by him, only to have me just say, "This is not worth it. I'm not trying to create an international incident. I'm just going to walk away from this one and take the L." I'm sure Jason Aldean doesn't know that this happened at his venue, and I'm just glad that didn't happen with a much larger YouTube streamer who might have had 2,000 or 3,000 people watching, because the 25 or so negative reviews they got from my audience could have easily been 250 or 500 negative reviews from a bigger streamer, which would be a lot harder for them to erase. My real concern here is for the people that work in the venue, the people that rely on tips, the bartenders, the barbacks, the people who are serving food. I would hate for them to see their business suffer because they're just like you and me. They're just trying to get by. But that's my take on the situation and my connection to Jason Aldean and his connection to the city and a review of the place. You let me know in the comments below if you watch the incident, what you think about it, and if you think that this is a fair take or if this is a crazy take. Once again, my name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Vegas blogger. I do lots of live streams. I do analysis videos like this. I'd love you if you joined me, if you enjoyed this video, you got anything out of it. Hit the bell for notifications and hit subscribe. And until the next time we see you, we're going to look at the camera. We're going to say 3, 2, 1, click. Are you ready? We look at the camera. We say 3, 2, 1, and click.